Have you ever started to notice that when you're on YouTube, they give you countless or endless choices, and yet there's nothing you really want to watch? I've started to feel that way about luxury YouTube, and I don't really believe mainstream influencers when they say it's because the luxury community is dying.
YouTube is kind of over now, and I get that.
You know, so many people have either just like stopped uploading or like jumped ship, changed niches completely.
But other people are also sort of getting a bit bored of luxury, and I would 1000% agree.
I do think luxury consumption has slowed, but people are still eager to talk about things within this community. It's just that the conversations within it are often stale or sterile, sometimes even just boring and even toxic. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Alice, and I like to do a little bit of these deep dives, whether it's what it takes to afford a luxury bag to some of the less popular opinions I have about mainstream trends. And today I wanted to share why I think the luxury community has just gotten boring. Now, the first reason why I think it's gotten a little boring is because the narratives are pretty much controlled. And I think it's because to be successful in this space, traditionally, you had to be one of two kinds of influencers. The first kind of influencer that did really well was someone who obviously just could afford a bunch of luxury items and then, share their experiences with them. So oftentimes these people were just extremely wealthy and did a lot of unboxings, shared reviews, would obviously be able to give very good information because they could compare different bags so that people would be able to, make informed choices. And there was just a thrill of seeing other people do a huge number of unboxings and find the things that they really loved. Now, given the economic backdrop of what's happening today, people are less and less inclined to see these huge amounts of unboxings because sometimes it's just a little distasteful, and I think people are just not getting the sense of contentment that they used to from these kinds of videos. The second type of influencer that does really well in this space has been someone who is able to escape that high barrier to entry. So rather than being very wealthy, sometimes these people are just extremely popular and then are then gifted bags. And so oftentimes these people are just, models, fashion influencers, or just, celebrities as a whole. And this model isn't very new. LVMH and other luxury companies have always used celebrities as a means to share an aspirational view of what these bags could be. But when you start to realize that most of the content that comes from these people are just either gifts of these bags, but then that also means that there is just a huge amount of strong control over the narrative of these bags. Many of these people who are gifted bags often just say things like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was gifted this bag. Thank you so much, and it's so cute."
Shopping bag just showed up at my front step, and I did not buy anything from Gucci, which means Gucci sent me something in the mail. I haven't even seen her. I'm doing this together. It's a Gucci marmot.
It's not my boyfriend. It's Mr. Louis Vuitton. This is really heavy and big. Let's take a look. It's such a nice color. It also comes with a strap in case you want to wear it on your shoulder. And he has nice handwriting too.
And it's just really strange that once after that huge sweep of trends come, I never see many of these people who are gifted the bags wear them ever again. And so there's a little bit of a sense of inauthenticity because more and more of the people who are on social media, who are part of this luxury community, do this for their full-time job. And obviously they have to find ways to get money or get views. This is how it becomes. You as the person watching this video now are the consumer, but also the customer, and everything that is put out nowadays in the luxury space often feels very much like an ad. And I don't necessarily blame influencers for this because, they need to make money too. But as someone who watches YouTube daily, I often feel that way as well. Like, oh, this is just an ad for me to buy this bag, or an ad for me to buy Ideal or Goelia, or just some other kind of sponsorship. And so if you combine these two ideas where people obviously are tired of already seeing unboxings because of the economic backdrop, how do you think they would feel when everything that they consume just feels like an ad to begin with to make them have to buy something? So it's no surprise when people start to feel like, oh, everything just feels a little icky, a little too much because it's just being pushed down on you. Buy this, buy this, buy this. And you don't feel like the narratives very authentic because the line between LVMH and these companies and the influencers' narratives are pretty much very aligned, because you would never see bags gifted to an influencer in which the narrative could not be controlled. I think you see this very much in the Murakami collection release, where most of the people who were gifted bags were so happy with what they got, and the people who bought them on their own were actually pretty disappointed in the collection. The two narratives are very different, and so I think that's why people have stopped really watching these kinds of things, because it feels inauthentic. And it oftentimes is no blame to the influencers themselves. It's just inherent to the industry because it is just so expensive to get into, and that is the nature in which people deal with many of these companies. Another reason why I find luxury YouTube pretty boring nowadays is because not only is it an insidious way of marketing and advertisements, but the narrative around bags nowadays have also just been about cost.
Today we're going to go into the nitty-gritty of investment bags.
Investment designer bags that hold their value really well.
I have done lots and lots of research into finding out what is the best luxury bag to invest your money in.
So everything here is about how much it costs, how much it resells for, things like investments, which I already have a problem with. For example, many people nowadays have the same collections that are Hermes bags because they are investments, and they have the same kind of colors because they resell well. And they wouldn't buy another kind of bag like a Lady Dior because it doesn't have good resale value, and not about the true enjoyment of why you got the bag. So I think a lot of people used to go into luxury because this signified a special occasion, a moment in time for them. They had accomplished something and they wanted to buy something for it. Now, people don't need to do that. I think that has also gone a little bit far in terms of, now I need a push present, now I need this, now I need that. But overall, the conversations have always been about cost. Who is wearing this? How much does it cost? And so the things that are now popular are simply due to market trends. And so it's simply because other people like it, therefore I like it. Signifies to me that people have started to become followers rather than leaders in this space. It's about what will sell well because it's popular. And so you are following market value over your intrinsic sense of value that you may want to attach to the bag itself. And I think that's really sad. Like, if you like a Lady Dior or another type of bag, but it doesn't resell well, why should that inhibit you from getting the bag? If you've already thought about whether or not you're gonna resell it, to me it kind of shows that you really didn't want that bag to begin with, or people's mindset have changed around bags itself. Perhaps you really want it at this point of time, but you kind of always want to be looking for another bag, and that is also a little bit problematic because then it becomes hyper consumerist. We have fallen into the trap of looking at what's the next season release, what's the next thing. There are so many new releases every day. People are reviewing every single new thing that's coming into the block, and honestly, like, at some point you feel tired, you can't keep up. So I think knowing your true sense of what you like versus, oh, this is what is valuable based on what could pay well, will be way more liberating for you as the individual. And I think would bring more spice up back into the conversations when you start seeing things like, I bought this bag because I really felt like it was unique. I really enjoyed this. I had this moment. They tell you a story versus I'm getting this because it has good resale value. And I don't even believe in this idea that bags are investments because, one, they are meant to be used, and two, you actually rarely get a return, even on Hermes bags, because you have to consign them and the consigner gets a cut. Usually you're not getting back that much, especially if you've worn the bag and it shows any sign of wear and tear. It's just too risky of an asset that I would not even call it an asset. I think that in itself is also problematic and is given to consumers so that they believe that they are making a good decision. I think in a time where most of these brands are really struggling, you see Kering Group drop like almost half in sales revenue LVMH is struggling. People think that is the indication that people will not really want to watch these kinds of videos. But I think it goes to show that people just want to watch different kinds of videos. And how many influencers can you watch getting the same bag before it just feels like the person and the item is just an object in itself? Only when people are able to cut through that and share, this is my story, will people start to feel like, oh, okay, well, I feel that this video has given me some sort of value. I feel like I can share my own story. I've read so many of your comments sharing things about like why you got your bag and what you're thinking about. And those are the things that I think really make the community good over things like, oh, you shouldn't get that because it won't make money. Or have you seen this celebrity wear this? Because at the end of the day, those kinds of interactions are way more transactional and less authentic. So those are my thoughts. Are there other reasons why you think this community or the conversations in it have become a little boring? I'd love to hear your comments down below. If you like this video, please do give it a like, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!